Yo. One of y'all give us a quick little intro what we got going on right now.
I pulled up first. I got video proof. But
You did. Hey, Q. Hey, I gotta give credit to Q right now, bro.
Thank you.
Look. Q has been fucking legendary with the clips this week. Like all the. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. We are gonna have video proof. You don't catch me saying this often, but Q better than me at editing right now. All right, we got Roddy in the building.
We got Roddy Dotty.
But sometimes I feel like the GPS, bro, pulls them up to the wrong spot.
We got Roddy Dotty. We like the potty.
She's calling right now. So are you originally? Really? Oh, you're a real one for coming through. This is Monte.
Hey, how are you, Rada?
Nice to meet you,
Nice to meet you.
So are you on like no sleep?
No sleep. Partial sleep.
Partial sleep?
Yeah.
Like, no, you're definitely one of the no filter type people.
I know. But I have to have a filter now, he told me.
No, you don't have to.
Ronald, you're gonna be in the hot seat tonight. Just so you know.
That's kind of scary.
I got some questions
You
for
know,
you.
I never do any podcasts. Like, I always reject them.
Really? So then what made you decide to do ours?
You know, because you supported me from the get, so I just
real.
wanted to support you back, that's all.
I appreciate it.
He's a big supporter. I'll give him
I
that.
try
He is a
and
big
show a lot of
supporter.
love.
He's
so.
a big supporter. And, you know, like, everybody would ask me to do their podcast, and I'm like, no. I'd rather not, because I never know what they're going to ask me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of What Does It Take Pod. Today's guest, special guest, to my right is Rada. Yay! I mean, you can hit the horns.
But you didn't teach me how to use it, though.
I got you.
You're usually the one that sits over here.
How you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you for
Appreciate
coming
all you
through,
guys.
man. Rada's a real one. She came off a flight from Philly. Since 1 a.m. you've been up?
1 a.m. No. I took a few hours of a nap.
A few hours still not enough, but she still
Get
came
your
out
beauty
here and
sleep
showed
in.
love.
Yeah.
She a trooper. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Like I said,
Thanks for having me.
Like I said before, like we got some questions for you. So we want the tea.
I'll bring it on. I'll give you a pot of tea
With steaming
with
hot.
sugar in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm from the South, so we gotta have sugar in it.
Yeah, that's why I said that. Sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Just don't burn your mouth on it. You gotta let it sit for half a second, all right?
Medium cool.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
I want to do background first. So you said you're from Long Beach, California. I know you dabble in real estate. You were on VH1 Couples Retreat. Give us a little introduction about yourself. Yeah.
Sure. So I was raised, and a lot of people don't know this, but I was raised in the east side of Long Beach. I am from the hood.
So much drama.
So much drama in the LBC.
Yeah.
Hey.
And then I moved out to Phoenix a long time ago, only because I got into a lot of trouble. Coming from an underprivileged area, you know, it comes with a lot of stuff that you have to deal with. So I put my mom through a lot, and then I made her proud when I graduated college here. And what did I not do?
That's a great question.
I've been in every industry that you can think of, but I've spent most of my time in human resources with State Farm Insurance. I was a consultant for them for a long time before I branched off and just lived life a little. So now I'm here.
That's awesome.
How'd you like that experience in insurance with State Farm?
Well, I wasn't on the
Or
insurance
HR.
side. I was on the support side for corporate.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I had consulted with, executives, first, second, third line leaders, as well as handled employee relations issues. And I did that for a while. And it kind of wore on me because I'm not a very appropriate person.
And you did HR. That's awesome.
I mean, it was acting.
Diversification.
It was all acting. So I had to be this
A
corporate...
walking oxymoron.
Exactly. I was like a corporate woman with my hair tied up, with a suit on, talking about corporate things, I guess.
But let's be real. everyone, if you catch any of your friends at work, you're gonna see a different side of them that you're not used to
100%.
seeing.
Yeah. Believe me, a lot of people were surprised. They were so surprised.
It's an off and on
They're like, is that the same Rada from HR?
She let her hair down. She's out here having a good
She's
time.
saying the F word like
she
very, very
cusses? What?
often. Yeah, oh my gosh, I was a total different person. You would have never recognized me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I believe it though. I feel like if someone were to like walk by and hear me talk to a patient, even there are times where I like want to go off if someone's being complete. I mean, it rarely happens, but they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this dude, bro?" That's not how he
Like,
is.
doctor, what? What did you just say? What did he say?
That's hilarious. And
Okay.
then- oh, you go ahead.
It's all you, baby.
You were, because I'm assuming you were asking the insurance question because you used to be in insurance.
Yeah. So I did insurance with a startup company. What was it, 2017, 18? Oscar Insurance, and then I dabbled in insurance for a little bit.
Oh, good. As an insurance
Mostly
broker?
sales. Yes.
Okay.
Mostly sales, Medicare, Medicaid. Because I love in the health field. There's so much drama.
Right.
I can't shake the song.
No,
now. There's so much
with
drama.
all due respect, Q, I hate medical dental
I do
insurance.
too. I do too. But I'll tell you one thing: when someone called me, I'm never trying to upsell them. You don't need to. They're calling
You don't
me.
need to, exactly.
Like, let me help you. I know these plans like the back of my hands. So I was really good at talking to someone, hearing and listening. What do you need? You know what I'm saying? So
And that's the key.
yeah, and people will call me back. Hey, can I talk to? Where's Kais? I need to talk. And you build rapport. You know.
Right,
So
right.
I enjoyed it while it lasted.
Oh, that's cool, but that's kind of boring.
It is. It is.
Hey, this is what I love. I've been following Rada for a while now. What I love about her, she's unfiltered. She just speaks her mind, does what, and I love it. You do whatever the hell you want.
So
And that's how
Rada.
it should be.
So Rada, so when did you transition from the insurance? What was the next step for you?
Okay, so I transitioned to become a business owner for the first time. I'm thinking because I'm like, gosh, do you call cutting candy and selling it to the kids in the ghetto as
Yes.
Candy lady.
entrepreneur?
Wait. Hold on a second. We talking about candy?
That's a start.
Are we talking about?
No, okay, there's a story behind that. So when I was in Long Beach, I was like maybe 7, 8 years old. My parents used to leave me alone all day long for years because, you know, we're immigrants and we had no money. We were living in the projects, literally, like there's a gate around our apartment complex and you can't go out of the street or out to the streets because there's a lot of shootings, gang violence. My brother was an OG of a gang back then, believe it or not. And that brought a lot of issues to our complex. So the kids can't go out. And they have to stay inside with their parents. And most of the parents are on welfare, you know? And my family was factory workers. So I was the only one that can go out of that gate. And there's a liquor store out across the street. And I would run the streets, you know, at that age. And I was fine. Nobody tried to kill me or
How old were you at
kidnap
this
me.
time?
7, 8 years old.
What the hell?
Yeah.
You running the streets, 7?
I was running the streets with candy, real candy, like Snickers bars and stuff. I'm not talking about drugs.
She said,
That's why we had to clear that up real quick.
she said I was cutting it up and selling to the kids. I'm
I was
like,
cutting it up, yeah.
She said, hey, you
Who the hell,
she made,
kids?
she made the fun size bars before they even came out.
Exactly. No, these were not even fun sizes. Oh my
Wipe
God,
his
I
nose,
robbed them
wipe his
kids.
nose.
I robbed them kids, and I'll tell you why.
Damn.
I went to the
Oh, you
liquor
was a
store. I
thug.
got a bar. Back then, it was like 25 cents for a bar of candy, right? And then they have the little, what do you call the twisty candies and the big Boston baked beans and lemon heads. So I would take that, pour it into a bag, and I'll go sell it door to door to the kids. And they'll steal their parents' money and give it to me for like 10 cents, or like the Hershey's or the Snickers bar would be like 25 cents a piece. Man, I would make good money, like $20 a week.
Damn.
Just by selling
you were a
candy to
hustler
these
at the
kids.
womb.
Yeah. And then that's how I made money. And my mom would think like I'm stealing money from people because I would have like all these coins in my piggy bank. And at the end of the week, I'm like, can I have a McDonald's?
It's like, nah. I got it, Mom. I got it right here.
it's like, what?
You want fries with that? You want McDouble? I think it's dope though because I feel like a lot of people sleep on like the candy lady. Like back home in Memphis, like we would have a candy lady on the block, and like we would all go there and she would just have stuff
she was making bread
lined
off
up.
y'all.
Like,
Yeah.
but it was cheap though. It was like 25 cents for pickles.
Yeah.
Like, you had the Now Laters. We had this thing called Fruities. Y'all might know about. You heard Fruities?
Like taffy?
No, Fruities. I gotta put y'all on when y'all go to
Okay,
Memphis.
yeah.
But I think that's pretty dope though.
Fruities. I know.
The crazy thing, what I want to know, because I feel like we can all relate to this having immigrant parent or like
Mm-hmm.
foreign parents. How the fuck did you get away with all that shit? Because I know maybe
got
I'm
away
just
with
a
a lot.
bitch because I was scared. Like if my parents growing, I was not.
Mama and
no-
daddy wasn't home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
she's
mom and dad was never
good.
home.
I guess
I
that-
go out the gate whenever I want. I ran
She
the
was
street. I
thugging.
was playing until nighttime. I knew when my parents were coming home. I would rush in, and all I had to eat was like sugar sandwiches, and that's how I fed myself.
Ooh, they don't even know about
Hey,
sugar
hey.
sandwiches. They don't know
In the
about
camera,
sugar.
camera.
You don't?
Hey.
You don't
Oh,
know what sugar sandwiches?
Not y'all.
In
I'm
the
talking about a
camera,
lot of
look
people.
at how nice her teeth is. Look at how nice
It
her teeth
wasn't
are.
nice like this. You should see a picture when I was
I
a
was
kid.
gonna say all that candy. Hey,
Sugar
eat
sandwich.
hey, this is endorsed by Dennis. Eat all that candy, and this is what your teeth is going to look like.
And they're not veneers.
They're
'cause
not
I'm not
veneers.
licking them.
They're not.
And you don't have nothing in your teeth, so there's no reason for you. to
Oh,
do
good.
that.
Great. I didn't even check that
That's
before I
actually
came on.
hilarious. All right, so you were running the hood basically,
Yeah,
and
I
then
was
what?
pretty much
What
running
next?
the hood.
Well, she did State Farm.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah, that
so
was
I
good.
opened up a coffee, tea, and dessert spot in Chandler. Had that for 2 years, and I was like, I'm so bored with this. So I sold it to the next person that had asked to buy it. I was like,
What
you
was
know
the
what,
name
take
of it?
it.
Because I'm from Chandler.
Yeah, Bamboo.
Oh, I
B-A-M-B-U.
think I'm actually familiar
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, yeah.
That name sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
B-A-M-B-U Chandler, next to Lily's.
Oh yeah,
just
yes.
gonna
Yes.
You guys
Bro,
been
we,
there?
Yeah.
Oh, we
That
used
was
to
my
shop
spot.
at Lily's all the freaking time too.
Wait,
in that
is it
plaza.
further or
Is it
in the
where by
corner?
like that snow cone place? Like
It's next to the karate place.
Ah, yeah, I've
Right
seen
next
it.
door to the right of it. Yeah, so
What
I
a
had that
small
spot for
world.
2 years. It did pretty well, and then I was like, you know, this is too much work. Everything's organic, fresh. I can't do it anymore. So I sold it, and I was going through a divorce during that time too. And then
tough.
I was depressed for a while after that because I was like, you know, I didn't want my marriage to end, but then I had to leave because nothing was working, and I put a lot of time into it. So
Sometimes you got to
Business
do what's
or
best.
the marriage.
the marriage.
Okay. No, I was just, yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you got to put yourself first. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have a tough time with that because they want, you know, especially if there are kids involved or anything like that.
And
you
our
know,
culture.
Yeah,
Yep.
culture, change of lifestyle, starting over.
Oh, I started over, you know, and then and here's how I landed in real estate. I had no choice. I built myself from the ground up again. I didn't get anything from him. I didn't ask for anything. As a matter of fact, I told him that I won't take anything as long as you just sign those papers.
Oh, so
So-
you initiated the divorce?
I
then?
initiated
Okay.
it. There were a lot of things that happened, but I'm not going
For
to get
sure.
into
No,
it.
no, yeah.
What's the reasoning why you wouldn't? Because I feel like me,
We shouldn't want
I'd be
to.
petty and I'd feel like, hey, stop me.
We shouldn't want to
I'm
open
not
up
a petty
those.
person.
Really?
I like
yeah,
that.
and here's the
Honestly,
reason why.
You're a better human being than I am.
Well, here's the reason why.
Wait,
I
wait.
believe.
Before you go back, I feel like a lot of people miss what you just said.
Yeah.
You said I'm not a petty person.
No, I'm not. I'm not a petty person.
Love
I don't
that.
have a petty bone in me. And here's the reason why. I believe in karma. And I feel like karma will take care of them as long as I do good unto others and treat others how I want to be treated. The universe and God will take care of me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I really respect that.
Yeah. So that's the reason why. And, you know, I thank him for the experience. I thank him for my children. I have beautiful children. There's a lot to thank him for, although, you know, the times were really bad, but something great came out of it.
Sound like you wanted a clean slate
I did.
from that situation.
I did.
And I applaud you
And-
for that.
Yeah, so I just started, and I feel like, you know, money comes and go. You lose a lot, and you'll get back a lot, depending on how you deal with life and depending on how you treat your journey, I guess. And I had to borrow my sister like $500 just to go to real estate school. I did a crash course, believe it or not, 7 days, morning and night. And then I took the next week to study. I had no bother from anybody. My kids weren't home, had no friends during that time. I studied and I took the exam the first time and I passed. And that's when I started making money.
Yeah, but that's the mindset. Like, you know, how you were talking about you needed a clean slate. You're like, hey, if I got to borrow the money, like, you're going to be good for it. You're putting it towards something, got it done. 7 days.
7 days. I couldn't believe it either. Thanks for, I'm going to have to thank my psychologist for Adderall. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, I mean,
So
7
the
days.
real estate course was 7 days?
7 days.
And
Well,
that's for
Crash
the
course.
Arizona?
the crash course was 7 days.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-hour morning, 5-hour night class for 7 days. Yeah.
And then you get, well, after you take the 2 exams, right? Because there's a state exam and there's a...
They combined it now, so if you failed one part of it, you have to take both parts. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I am not failing.
We ain't
So
doing
you
all
take
that.
the-
No.
you take the crash course, you take the exam, that's it, you're certified.
Well, if you pass, you have to get like, I think it was like 80%.
Damn.
And I passed the first time.
Good shit.
Thank
You know how many
God.
people I know that take the longer course and
Yeah.
have to retake the exam multiple times? Like, I know at least like 5-10 people.
I was determined. I was like, I gotta, get back on my feet somehow, and this is the only way that I can do it with fast cash without doing things illegal. And I had a lot of friends in OnlyFans. They're like, why don't you do an OnlyFans? I'm like, oh hell
boy.
no.
I'm glad you
Oh,
didn't.
boy.
I'm glad you didn't. So you pretty much separated for those 7 days because you're like locked in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How was that? Just with the studying, kind of walk us through that.
It's brutal because, going to class early in the morning, I'm not a morning person. I like doing things in the afternoon. That's when I'm wide awake. So starting at 7 in the morning, just going through a lot of coffee. And then I get like maybe 2 hours rest in the afternoon, and then I'll go through my material, just, trying to reiterate and re-review everything that I learned in the morning. And then I go to the night class and I sit and listen to what the instructor's saying. And my whole thing is I have to understand it. So ask as many questions as I can to be able to process it. And that's what I did. I didn't give a fuck about anybody in the class getting annoyed with me asking questions. 'Cause I'm like, I'm gonna pass
Yeah,
this
you're
shit
paying
one.
for your education.
Yeah.
Might as well learn a thing or
Right,
two.
because when I was younger, I used to be scared to ask questions because I didn't want to annoy people. And at this point, I'm like, I have to do what it takes to pass
For yourself.
for myself.
When I
Yeah.
was at ASU, I mean, smaller class, like in the summer, I used to be, it was like a changing point. Like, man, stop asking questions because I'm
Yeah.
getting the material. But there was like a bunch of times where someone would ask a simple question. The explanation put me on more like something different. And I was like, you know what? I'm never having that mentality again. Like, unless someone's really, truly slowing it down.
Yeah.
Like remedial style. But no, that's good. That's good. You got to do what you got to do.
You
Put
gotta
yourself
do what you
first.
gotta
You know
do.
what's crazy? I haven't heard. Why isn't it more known that there is a crash course out there? I feel like that's the first time I heard about it.
Well, it's not, I guess there's no label to it as a crash course, but I was the one who kind of asked the instructor or the school to see if I can double it. And that's why I called it a crash course. So it's my terminology for doubling
That's dope.
classes.
So you got your real estate license, and then what?
Yeah, I was offering, just my friends my service, and I sold a few houses. In the first year, I got like 1 or 2 listings, and that's how I made money. I got back on my feet, and then I got into the cannabis industry for a little bit. It was a friend's company, and I was their sales rep, and I made some good money from that too. So I did everything that, that was an opportunity for me. Any opportunities came, I never rejected it.
I feel like everything goes back to like the way you were raised is just that hustler mentality. It's like no
Right.
matter what it is, I'm gonna learn everything in and out and just fucking be really good at it. I think that's
Right.
amazing because
Yeah.
you know how hard it is to find that in people these days. Just to find someone that has like the
Drive.
passion and drive for just
Yeah.
one thing. But it's like for
Right.
you, it's just continuous. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna cannabis,
No.
real estate.
A lot of people just give up. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck
Or
it.
they just are like, I'll just take this job. Like you call my job boring, but I had to do what I had to do. I was killing sales. Look it up.
Bro,
Like,
being nice. You know, she's talking shit.
but I turned up. Listen, I didn't forget. When I left there, I turned up. You know, I hit the gym. You know, we doing so. But
you.
she's like, all right, you okay?
I got you. My boy, blow it up.
It wasn't
Thank
boring
you.
because you were there. Let me
Yeah, I was the life of the
rephrase my words.
I got your back here.
But I do like how no matter what the candy is, it was getting chopped up.
Yeah.
You kept chopping it
Chop
up,
it
whatever it was. Handing it out. Here, this is a house. This is that. This is a canopy. Nah.
Yeah, I guess my whole thing is, you know, you just take every opportunity that's presented to you. You never know what could come out of it. And I live my life without any rules. I used to live a strict life. Like I would have an itinerary when I cook, I clean, when I go to the grocery store, which grocery stores I'm going first. Like I had my life planned out, and I found out that, you know, with my divorce and everything and life experience, that nothing will ever go as planned.
That's huge.
Love it.
And I've been living my life just day by day. I'm like, whatever happens, whatever presents itself will present itself. And I live life like that every minute. And, you know, that goes towards my relationship too. Like, there's no expectations.
For what, I mean, in your case, because you have that hustler mentality, that like I felt like you're born with it. What do you do in order to keep yourself from getting complacent when you go day by day without a schedule of what you're going to do, and you know, whether it's work, recreational stuff? How do you just be like, okay, I need to get this done, or I just kind of want to chill and just be at home? Do you like, what keeps that drive going for you?
New things. No.
Yeah, new things.
I could tell because you were like, this got
I love
boring,
change.
that got boring. I'm like,
Yeah.
she likes change.
I love change.
Do something different,
Right.
spark it.
So when I was working in the corporate world, and the reason why I was there for so long is because it's always evolving. You know, it's always different. It's always new. And I loved learning, you know. I feel like life is all about lessons and learning, constant learning, because you can't stay complacent. And once you do, when life beats you, like it beated me, it depends on how you're going to look at it and recover from it. And if you stay complacent, you won't have that knowledge to be able to rebuild. And that's why you have to always keep continuously learning. Life is always evolving. The world is always evolving. The people are always evolving. So you just have to keep learning.
So I want to take it back to something you said right before O's question. You said you don't have, or I think you said you don't have expectations, or you have, did you say you don't, or it's low?
I do not have
Don't
any
have expectations in the relation. So I have a question. Let's say Valentine's Day comes around. Do you have, you're like, whatever happens, or you're like, you need to do this, or I want to
no.
feel like, what does that look like for you? What are you asking, or what do you expect?
A lot of people might think that, you know, I'm materialistic or I'm very high maintenance, but
Why would they think that? Come
it's
on.
totally opposite.
She's like, look,
No, honestly, it's totally opposite. I'm so simple. You know, if I could have it my way, I'd be in jeans and no makeup all day long. This is actually my natural hair. I didn't put
Flex.
a wig on for you
Go ahead,
guys.
flex.
No, I didn't do anything to it. So that's why I'm like, you know, I don't feel like putting my wig on today, so you're gonna have to see me like semi-natural.
Hey, Drake said it in the song, right?
Hey, I was just saying,
Drake said it in the song, man. No makeup, that's when you're the prettiest. I hope you don't take it wrong.
And you know, as a matter of fact, Valentine's Day, had plans to go to dinner and, do something fun. But it was after Super Bowl, and I was like, you know what? Can we just stay in? Like, I really don't want to go out. So we just Uber Eats it and had a movie, and that was our Valentine's Day. Like, I don't expect anything, but he always thinks about me, and he's a giver. So he'll always, like, try to find things and, gift things to me. But to me, it's not all about that. And I told him, I'd rather build with him than have him buying
I could tell
expensive
just by your
stuff.
Oh, I
upbringing.
love it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She said some shit. She said some
She
shit.
did.
Man, you
And
said some shit.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think
Yeah.
for the people that don't know your kind of upbringing, you're the type person where I want to build a fucking empire and then I could go
Yeah.
get whatever the fuck I want
Exactly.
instead of, oh, let me just get this, this, and this.
Let me clean the
Yeah.
house first. Like stopping him from getting to where he's trying to go. Like he's already like
Right.
once he's already solidified, you already know you're gonna get whatever you want.
But
Well,
That's facts.
That's true.
she said, well, she has something to say.
Oh, go ahead.
no, it's not like getting whatever I want. Like, what I really want is just an honest, genuine companionship that you can share each other with, like, for a lifetime. Like, I just want that person to just build with and just hang out with, have a good time with, laugh with, go through life with,
You said something.
Man, Rada, you preaching right now.
Yeah, it's hard to find that nowadays, and not a lot of people understand. I found that in Mike. A lot of people see our relationship either on social media or the show, of which it didn't portray the nicer side of the relationship, but
Well,
our
we do that for the
relationship
views,
is
for
solid.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, our relationship is pretty solid, and we have that.
See, I like that. I like that. Well, let me ask you this: do you think that changed over time? Not necessarily with Michael, but with you, like your expectancy of Valentine's Day, because I think it's something you grow out of. Like everyone wants something nice, but
I was never too big on these commercial
Me
United
neither.
States
Same.
stuff. It's like even Christmas and stuff. I mean, I celebrate the Lord. I celebrate, his Passover and all of that. But I just didn't feel like, doing all the commercial stuff that they're pushing to us to do
To spend
is
money.
part of it. Yeah, it's
I
part
agree.
of
And I feel like
business.
as long as you're
It's
treating your
business.
significant other, showing them that you care and putting effort on days that aren't a specific, like, I feel like that's more important than just showing it all.
but you can't
Exactly.
but you can't show effort to someone who doesn't see effort. Right? Like if someone is stuck in this, like, I want this for Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to do X, Y. Like I saw some videos online and this girl's like, you got me these. I don't even like these. And who knows? I hope it was a skit. But like I've heard through friends, relationships, like, man, and most guys are indifferent about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think this, what you were saying, speaking to being like, hey, I'm a simple person, but like he still thinks of you and like
He
he's
does.
trying to gift you, just trying to make it nice. But it's like, you know what? Tonight I do really feel like staying home, and that quality time is
Right.
gift enough.
That is more than enough.
In a sense, everyone wants to get dressed up and go out and enjoy some gifts.
Yeah, and it's, that's always been, I've always been the same from the beginning. So to answer your question, it's not something that's built over time where I'm like, oh, forget about Valentine's Day. And it was important in the beginning. It never was. Like, it just, even with my ex-husband, we never really did any of that. All I wanted was like the basics, and I couldn't even get that. Like throwing away the trash.
The simple things in life.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know something though, like I think each of you guys like said something that's very like valid and influential, because nowadays in like our new dating era, we're so big on holidays and wanting to be able to post pictures of what my significant other have done for me that we forget, why we're in a relationship in the first place.
What reality is in general.
No, and you know what's crazy about that, because I'll never forget, I was in a relationship with someone and we actually got into it about Valentine's Day.
Oh wow.
And what the I'm not speaking on names.
Say your name.
It's
Go
okay.
No,
ahead.
I'm not speaking on no.
Look into the camera and say,
I'm not speaking no names.
Was it the
No.
last girlfriend?
I will neither confirm or deny that. So moving forward. Hey, it's all love. But the conversation was about Valentine's Day, and it was she was like, "Hey, babe, what are we doing for Valentine's Day? What do you think about it?" Now, me, I'm all for it. I'm all for whatever she wants to do. But I made a comment. I said I'm just not too big on Valentine's Day because I feel like I'm gonna do it regardless.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, I'm
Every
gonna
day should be
still do. I
Valentine's
said
Day.
every day for you is gonna be like that. So I said, so if we don't do nothing for Valentine's Day, you're not missing out. Because if you want to go to like Toga or somewhere, I could take you to that shit tomorrow. So my
Exactly.
thing is, and you said something that was very powerful, because a lot of women look at, and that's why I'm glad you're here, because I got some shit for you.
A lot of women's gonna hate me after tonight.
No, speak the truth.
We got your back. No,
we got your back for sure.
I just feel like nowadays when you're dating, it's always about give. But then
Right.
what are you receiving? If I'm buying for you, if I'm paying X, Y, and Z, but like, what are you giving me? Are you giving me more support? Are you giving me emotional
Peace of
support?
mind.
Are you giving me peace of mind? Are you elevating me to make more money to bring home?
Right.
Are you my peace? Are you, when I come home, are you like, babe, what do you need for me to do for you this week? Like, what are you bringing other than a beautiful face?
Right. What are you bringing to the table?
Because you're gonna get, I'm gonna do those things regardless because I want to, but not by force. And I feel like
You gotta have Rada find you someone that
Rada,
can
yeah.
find you
Rada, you gotta-
to build an
Hey,
empire.
Rod, you gotta help me out. Are you a good wing woman?
I mean, okay, so I feel like this generation is so different than what I'm used to. I'm old school, you know. I think that kind of tells
right
my
in.
age a little.
I'm not laughing at you.
Nah, he fit right in.
No, I'm old soul, but very
Yeah.
like playful at heart. So
Yeah.
I'm on the same thing. The commercialization, y'all laughing at me. No, but commercialization. I'm the one that is a little boring nerdy. So I look into like, where did the Valentine's Day?
Q's
What
got
is
dad jokes
Valentine's
for
Day?
days.
Yeah, what is
Where did it-
Valentine's Day? Where did these hearts come from?
Okay, it's a pagan holiday. Came from this. This is what their rituals were back then.
Yeah.
And then, which was sleeping with boys and then picking women out of a line like a lottery to,
For real?
Yeah. There's
I
like a
didn't know
history
that.
to it. And then it only became commercialized after it was I forgot his name, but he was like, I think in a jail cell, he was writing notes like love letters, and
From
he
jail?
he was a poet. What's his name?
Edgar Allan Poe?
No, that's a good guess. But he wrote something and put like my Valentine and like I said, and then all of a sudden it's like commercialized. Like, hey, get me this and that. Again, you want to do something nice.
One thing, Rada, I forgot to warn you before coming in. Q's like an encyclopedia. He got so
I
much
love
information
that.
on everything.
I love that. I know who to call when I need like some facts.
Hey,
Tell
what
me
about
the
this?
origin of this?
What's the origin? I don't need Google anymore. I'm just gonna cue it.
Chat GPT. Cue it. Hey.
That could be an app.
On cue, right? Just
I
call
called him the
him.
other day about my car, so yeah, he's very.
You go, Rada, a percentage though.
Okay. All right. We could do something.
Okay, so go. Were you gonna
No,
say
I was
something? Oh, I was gonna say. All right, getting into the nitty gritty then, because you said now you're just looking for someone that's an honest person, that's going to show you love, effort. So having all that, but with the open relationship stuff. So
It's not open.
it's not open.
It's not
Well, for me, it's not.
women only.
How's that fair?
For them,
How is
it's-
that fair, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna say nothing. That's on.
Well, let me explain it. So when I was married, when you're with somebody and you're having sex with the same person, the same way, every single day for how many years, it gets boring. I mean, don't you guys think?
I think you get bored fast.
Do you get bored?
I'm not married, so.
Well,
Okay.
I've only been married for 2
You better not say
years.
nothing
No,
else.
Oh, you
better
can't
not
say anything, my bad.
okay.
Let me not
But I'm
incriminate you
saying,
guys.
I'm just saying, no, I haven't.
that out. Whatever you say.
No, that's fine. Hey, I'll tell anything to my. I don't hide anything from her.
Nah,
I
I
tell
got
her
you.
how it is, but
No, the
I
matter.
I haven't got there yet. So ask me again in like. Nah.
Okay, I'll ask you again in 6 months. I'll ask you, are you newlywed?
Yeah, I guess for if 2 years counts,
2 years is pretty new.
2.5, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
that's
kinda
pretty new. I think after the 5-year mark, we'll ask you again.
Okay.
But
Reach back out and be like, hey, you doing
And
okay?
then there's the whole. Hey, how you doing, buddy? 5 years exactly. He's like, huh?
well, you know, people talk about the 5-year itch, right? And
I thought it was a 7-year itch. Is it 5?
they
It
call
might be
it the
both.
5. Maybe it's
Whatever,
both.
yeah.
You
Okay,
know,
anyway,
anything
yeah.
over 5 or 5 and over, I don't know. But I kind of felt it at like 6 or 7, and at that time I was like, how do we spice up our relationship? And he's like very conservative, very old school. Like the woman should be home, the woman should be cooking, the woman should be watching over the kids, doing everything, and the man shouldn't be doing nothing because he is the king. That's how it was.
Nothing or.
Nothing.
Do you mean
Nothing.
like outside of work?
Except outside of work.
Okay.
Yeah, outside of
Which
work.
is a lot.
Hey,
do you mean?
Rada, this is where I feel
I'm
like
gonna smack you right now.
you and Q are gonna differ in this because I feel like Q
She
is
said-
a more traditional.
No, but I
man.
get what she's saying. I'm pushing it.
Yeah.
I want her to be like,
Hey,
no.
if you get smacked, I'm not.
Look,
that's fine.
I got head movement.
You
We
see
didn't
these
sign it.
nails?
Catwoman over here.
They're sharp for a reason. These are
Those are
my
weapons.
weapons.
Oh God. Oh God.
But yeah, he didn't really do anything. So so I got bored after this was like maybe 2 years before we split up. We were going through counseling and everything, and I actually mentioned an open relationship to him, and he was like, "Hell no! Who do you think you are? Like, why are you talking to me about other women and other men?" And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm just trying to spice up our relationship and prolong our marriage, you know? But anyway, so he shut that down. We were still going through counseling, and this motherfucker, like, just stepped out on me while we were going through counseling. And I was like, no, I'm not having that because you just said no to the open relationship, but then you lied to me.
And
Yes. into
you
the
literally
interim.
gave him.
So...
But he would. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And so I was like, okay. Anyways, fast forward, I met Mike with no intentions of getting married or getting into this relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was single for 2 years after I divorced, and you know, I was having a ball. I'm like, damn, thank God my ex did what he did because I'm having a blast out here. He said the grass is not greener. There's a lot of green bananas out here, you know? So I was like, I was having the time of my life.
He said,
That threw me for a loop.
It's ripe out there.
But proceed,
You know? I like, the grass is greener sometimes. So anyways, I was having a ball. I was living life. And mind you, I've never partied. I've never drank my entire life, even during my college years.
Because you've been fucking managing, creating
married.
businesses, married,
Yes.
doing a whole bunch of other shit.
I was in my 20s.
oh,
She's not gonna tell you.
no. I mean, she said 20s. I was just
I was
like,
in
it
my
sounds pretty
20s.
young.
I was very young.
Okay.
So I knew no better, and then I just found life like a few years ago, pretty much. And so then 2 years after I played the field for a little bit, and you know, I met some great people, and I had like a mini relationship with someone that I think everybody knows. I'm not going to mention any names or tell you what he does, but that didn't work out. So then I met Mike through one of our mutual friends, Lil Jon, at Hakkasan.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, Vegas. He introduced us both.
that's crazy.
And then we just like clicked. Like it was like someone I've known for years. It was like a soul that
I
has
love when you get that feeling when you just meet
Yes.
somebody and you're like,
Familiar.
yeah.
very familiar. But the thing was, I didn't know who the fuck he was, but he was just so funny.
How do you not know Michael
And-
Blackson? What?
I
Martin?
came out of the shell. I just came out of the shell. I didn't know who he was. John was just like, hey, this is Mike. Mike, this is Rada. And, whoop-de-woo. And we were just like talking and 3 months later, we would talk here and there through text, but I wasn't like pushing it. And then 3 months later, he said, "Hey, I'm coming to Phoenix. I have a show there." And I love comedy shows. I go to the Improv. I watch Joe Coy. I watch Michael Yo. And
hilarious.
yeah, they're all funny. Everybody needs a good laugh. So I was like, okay, I'll go watch. So after that night, like we started talking more, and then he invited me to go visit him in LA, and I was like, sure, why not? I'm not working. So I went to visit him and stayed at his place, and he took me out for the first time. Our first date was, where was it? Lolo's Chicken and Waffle.
Hey,
Shout out
Larry!
we actually had Larry on the podcast
Oh, really?
too.
Yeah.
He brought plenty of
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
I love Lolo's.
Lolo is awesome.
So that's where we went, and then while we were out, like people would come up to him and ask him to take pictures, and I was like, "Who are you?"
Who are you?
I thought you were just a
I
normal
honestly
ass
didn't
dude.
know him to be like, this celebrity. But yeah, so we just kind of kicked it off the first night we met, and we had just a very casual relationship. I would see him like every other week or once a month sometimes because I was busy too. And it just progressed from there. And 2 years into casual dating, like it was, he's always been him. So he's had a lot of women. And I knew that. I mean, I know that industry to be that way.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I don't care like what you say when you're in that industry. There's a lot of temptation. Everything's easy access. You are not going to say no to free pussy. And vice versa. You know what I mean? If I was a woman in that industry and I can get like all kinds of
Ripe
men.
bananas.
Right. Yeah, if I can get like a jungle of ripe bananas and I need one for every day, I wouldn't say no, right? So, what?
Q, you
She said what? She goes, I respect it though. That's how you know you're good at conversation. You said you were about to say something. You saw me, and she said what?
She saw you from the
respect it.
corner of her eye too.
But
I saw that.
The what is, it was on a podcast I was listening to, and they asked that question: would you say no to free, pussy? Would you? And they went around the room. Ain't nothing in life free. There's always a cost to pay. Back
What
end
is
and
it?
front. I don't know. Sometimes it's your peace. Sometimes it's worse than that. It's health. So I mean, it could be anything.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Maybe it could be free for a period of time if you get out at the right time.
Somebody gonna catch feelings.
But like, it could be anything. But I get what you're saying, like the ease of access, and it's like if it's there.
The thing
it's
is,
there.
and you're absolutely right. In the world of social media, and in that industry, everyone's disposable, and that's the shitty part of
Yeah,
it.
everyone is disposable.
And I think, this is a fact. Women have access to men. I mean, they're trying to stop the men from falling into their DMs, and like as a man is different. So would we say no versus you? You probably said no to so many. You're like, no, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like you have more choices than a man,
man
even
does, yeah.
a man in that industry.
That's true.
It's just natural. It's the way it is. So if you it's like keeping a kid out of the candy store, whereas girls are going in the candy store. So by the time they're 24, they know what the best candies are. They're like, and we get in at 32, 34, and we're like, Twizzlers, like, Laffy Taffy.
Still going through the store. Still trying to find shit.
Still trying to find
Damn,
something
you
new
did
when
that
it's all
already.
old.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then the girls are
Yeah.
just like, don't talk to me. It's
Yeah.
like, but continue. Sorry.
No. So then it was like, I think the end of the second year where he started questioning me. And he was like, are you seeing anybody else? And I was like, wait, hold on. I don't ask you that. Why are you asking me that?
Because
Tables
he
have
started liking you.
Yeah,
He started liking you.
Yeah.
because
and
he
then-
noticed you're a real one. That's what it is. That's what it was.
I don't know what it is, but we had a lot of fun. And then that's when things became more real, and we fell into this relationship, and we never really put a title to it. It's just we're together. We never really had any real rules. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to talk to any of my guy friends anymore. Well, he doesn't stop that now, just as long as he knows we're just friends. Because the first thing that came out of his mouth was, if a guy is your friend, it means that you fuck him. And I'm like, that's not true for women. For men, it may be true.
Yes.
Yeah, if you say,
Yes.
oh, that's just a friend, and she's a woman, or the opposite sex of you, it means that you're fucking them. But for me,
I'm kind of gonna
That's not
disagree
true.
with you.
No.
But I want you to finish.
Yeah, I want you to finish.
Before we go in,
And before that, I just want to be an intermediary, and then I want to pass it over here because go ahead, finish your.
no. All I was just saying is that was his mentality. Is if you are friends with a guy, it means that you're fucking them. And I'm like, that's not entirely true for me.
So maybe in your case it isn't, but you can't just say every woman that says, "Oh, this guy that's just a friend is actually just a friend," because
Yeah, but
every
that's what she
single-
said that though. She's saying
No,
that.
she said if a guy, from a guy's perspective, it is. But she says when a girl says that's just a friend.
Oh, I believe. I trust you.
I don't always think women are
don't?
telling the truth. No,
You don't think women are telling the truth? Why?
I think because like women will have friends that are just guys, but I think they'll also have friends that are not just a guy friend.
Yeah, I think
that's just how it is. I'm not gonna say that
When
you're
they're in a relationship, though?
Yes.
Either way.
I've seen it happen. Well, they'll be like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about him," and then next
He's
thing you
a
know,
nice guy.
she's cheating on him.
See, like
Really?
I think the distinction is for you.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's climate, women choose who they allow access to themselves, right? So you're the chooser, but the guys around you, again, who's gonna say no? We already established that. Who's gonna say no to free booty? Nobody. No guy is, because they're in the candy store now. Gah, gah, gah. So when you got a guy who's like, "Oh, you need help with your car? Yeah, I'll come help you." That's an orbiter. Why is he leaving?
He's
yeah,
no, it's true.
yeah.
He's
why?
waiting for an opportunity.
Think about it. He has. I mean, if he's on his purpose, he has stuff he's got to do. Hit the gym, work, go home, rest, cook for himself, or whatever it is. He might have somebody else, a significant other. But if he's coming out of his way to help you, that's a nice guy to you. And you're like, I wouldn't. But if you called him up, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah.
Yeah,
you want to
he
come over? You're
definitely-
like,
you know what?
I'm going to grab my keys. I'm heading out.
Let me chime in on this with you. All right.
So just a nice guy is not true. He's not just a nice guy.
All right, Rada. Let's keep this 100 here.
Okay.
And I speak for all men because I can.
You speak for all men.
Oh,
because
shit.
I've seen this. I've seen this
Okay.
happen multiple times. Now every situation is different. This is why I'm wearing my glasses. I'm going professional.
Okay.
So everyone is different. Every situation is different. Now, what you said can be true.
Yes.
You can look at him as if like he's just a friend. Mario. You say, I'm just a friend.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I love that song. By the way.
Men, and this is how a lot of men think like this. Men will play the field for years waiting on that opportunity.
Yeah, but then there's a point in time when you fall into the friend zone.
That's not always the case.
Really?
Because
That's a man with no game.
Exactly. But here's the thing. A lot of men can go in a situation like they can know what they're walking into because of your situation.
Yeah.
But there's always vulnerable stages. There's always a little gap to where that man can
I've
just
never
shoot
seam
the gap.
found out.
Hold on.
Tay
I'm
really
going
said
somewhere with some
something,
shit. He can seam through there because you're going to open up at one point in time. It's going to be a situation that happened with you. Not talking about your relationship, but I'm speaking in general.
Yeah.
There's going to be a situation that happened and you're going to be like, man, fuck that dude. And you're going to be like, David going to hit you up. How you doing? I'm good. fucking John I just don't know. Like, he's just fucking.
He doesn't deserve you.
No, I
David
don't
gonna
know.
come right on in. Well, I'm always here. I'm always here to listen.
And we're not
No.
saying 100% of women are like
No.
that.
Man, I always
obvi-
like that.
But it does exist.
You can't sit here and say that shit not true.
No, because all my guy friends are not like that.
Man, I'll call him up right now. call him up right now and be like, call him up right now and be like, hey, me and Mike, we broke up. You want to go
Look,
out?
how many times have we broken up on social media? They've never been.
That don't mean nothing for no pussy. For one night, you tell him.
But it depends on you too, as a woman.
Facts.
True. That is
You know
very
how
true.
do you carry yourself around your
I'll agree with
guy
you on
friends,
that.
Definitely, 100%.
right? like I would never allow for them to cross the line. I would never make them feel like they would ever have a chance. You know, so it depends on you as the friend of the other person.
You gotta set
And
the standard.
I'll agree with you on that
Yeah.
because your personality doesn't allow it, but some women love the attention and want to entertain that
yeah.
and give them that
Yeah.
access to do it.
That's it right
Yeah.
And that's
there.
what it is.
The
And that's
attention.
what it is.
Facts.
And you know, like I
Damn,
guess
really said some shit
I'm-
right there.
I'm just thankful that I had great parents and a great upbringing to know that, you know, there's certain things that you can accept and should accept and the way you should carry yourself as a woman, you know. But yeah, I mean, I would never lead any of my friends on.
And to speak to that, that's what I'm saying. I think what you were saying is absolutely valid. You did touch on the part where you're like, you don't think.
Yeah.
But there's the other side of the coin, which is what the guys and I were saying, like, the guys are most guys are desperate. How do you think OnlyFans works? Like, who's paying for
These
pictures?
guys have like so much money. I mean,
Well,
why would
like,
they be
you have-
desperate?
Oh, look, I'm gonna
No,
tell you right
desperate
now.
not for
No
money.
matter how much
Desperate
money I
not-
fucking have,
not-
I am not spending
That's
not
what I'm
even a
saying.
fucking penny, bro.
Not desperate for money, but
Absolutely.
like those guys are the guys that had no game, no relationships, then got money, and they're like, "Oh, I can just pay for this." So it's
Yeah.
cool. They're doing it. So I'm not
not
even.
cool.
I'm not. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the
Don't
thing. It's
do
cool.
it.
It's cool. It's cool for the girls. I'm not mad at the women making the money. I don't agree
Yeah,
with it,
go
but it's
make
like,
your
do
bread.
what you got to do.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're milking the dudes, it's those dudes' faults of where we are now. So backing it up to this whole thing about like, hey, that's just a friend. So you, again, anybody, if you're seeing somebody and you don't put down boundaries, everyone has boundaries. But
Right.
when you're like, you know what, we're having fun, you don't want to define those. That's a hard talk. Like, don't do this, don't do this. Why can't I do?
Oh, yeah.
So it can be, you can naturally get defensive and build up walls versus being open, honest, and transparent and meeting in the middle. But anyway, when you know, well, for a guy, you guys can chime in. For a guy, attention from a woman, like where is she giving her attention or allowing attention to be put on, for us is a big deal. It's like if you're dating someone and he's buying women food and clothes, you're gonna be like, nah, if we're serious, you aren't giving out resources like that because that's supposed to come home.
Right.
For a man,
Right.
that attention that you're giving other guys is supposed to come home. So I think we're different in that way. And like you would know, you have a radar. Like this woman come around Michael, you're like, you see it, you're like, listen, babe, no, that girl is bad news. Just like guys, we speak guy. I can see a dude come into the room, look at a woman like this. I'm like, bad news.
Yep.
Bad news. He's just gonna wait for his time, put
Definitely.
his hand on your lower back. Oh, I got you here.
Yep.
Let me show you this.
Hey.
And start playing it like, and you're like, listen,
David playing the field. I made that name.
Okay, well, you guys know more than I do.
no, absolutely not.
Nah, you old school.
We need
Been
your,
around, like, you know how the game works,
Yeah.
being in the
but we need your perspective. I think it's super important but I feel like men are usually trying to understand women's perspective because we don't have a line of 10 women coming after us. Every woman has hundreds of dudes, or even respectfully, even the ugly fat chicks, like they'll have dudes that are like, yo, yeah, you know what? Actually, I'll give you some time for whatever, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
If you're an ugly fat dude and you're not rich, like filthy rich, you ain't get like, no, bro.
Oh man, you said no. That is true. Like,
Yeah.
honest, and you know what, Rod? I kind of want to know your thought process on this, and kind of like to go back off what Q said. If you're not an attractive guy and you're not making much money, how can that guy solidify himself in the dating world?
He can because here's why. When I started dating after my divorce, I never really looked at looks, to be quite honest with you. I never looked at what he had. It was based on our initial conversation. What can you offer to mentally stimulate my mind? And that attracted me more. Like
See,
if-
I was gonna interrupt you
Yo, go ahead.
and say, well, someone that doesn't want to get bored of a sex
Mm-hmm.
life, how do you keep the, like, if you're not physically attracted to someone, but then you just mentioned the
That's what,
mind stimulation.
yeah, that's what is more attractive than just the physical features, for me at least.
Okay.
Because I see a lot of like gorgeous men out there, but when you talk to them, it's trash.
Pile of rocks. You're like,
Can't hold a conversation.
There's no conversation. They're not charming. They're not witty. And all they have to them is looks. And it's like,
So
okay,
you're
what am I going to do with that?
you're sapiosexual, like attracted to the intellectual.
Someone who can make me laugh, who can carry a conversation. If we have things that are in common that we can share with one another. For me, it's all about feeling good. And if he can make me feel good mentally and emotionally, that's like attractive to me.
Okay.
Well, I know you have that. So can you talk about how it is, dating someone that's a comedian? That's always is when the cameras are off. Is he still? Because I know both of y'all. You bring you're gonna bring the heat too. Like if he's talking shit and making you laugh, I know that energy coming right back from you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
is this like
go
ongoing,
back
or
and
do you
forth.
guys have moments where hey, let's just turn out no funny shit? Like how do you being with someone that funny? How do you have serious time?
Like boundaries or
Yeah.
something about like joking?
Honestly, because I lived a traditional, average, boring life for years, this is exciting to me. It's always something new, and we never have boring moments. We're always going back and forth. Like we have so much fun together. There's not a dull moment where we're just sitting there and we're talking about serious stuff. The only time we ever get serious is if we have like issues we're working through, like jealousy or issues with side bitches. Well, back in the day, we had side bitches. And he respects me enough to be like, you know what, I hear you. Yeah, we're gonna cancel that bitch. She's not coming around no more. You don't have to pull her wig off.
Don't beat her up.
Damn.
Hey, rare.
Got the nails.
West Side? No.
Look, the thing with me is he's never saw the Long Beach in me. He experienced it only once out of the 4 years we've been together, and he never want to see it again.
You're like, it's here.
Do we want to ask what that was, or
Okay, I used to be a hothead back then. Like you can never get me down. When I'm in that fighting zone, I'm like
You
gonna
just see
beat a
red.
bitch up.
Yeah.
You almost slapped me. No.
Q did almost
I
see
would
it.
never do that to
I
the
know.
Q. I'll just cue it.
Hey.
But yeah, like so I found that it takes so much energy just to get riled up and be in a bad mood, and then you're like in a bad mood all night. So as I had gotten older, I felt like I need to zen myself, and I matured a lot. As far as my emotional intelligence, I knew how to control it, and now it takes a lot to get me to that level. So if today you had gotten me to that level, it means you've done something
lot.
really egregious to
Yeah.
get me there. And this woman did, and I got there, and I wanted to beat her ass really bad. And it took me a while to come down from it, and I was like, you know what? I never want to feel like that ever again.
I got you.
Never.
Just a heightened sense of emotion, and it takes it's like fatiguing. It sucks life force out of
It
you.
sucks
You're just
the
like,
life
like a
out
leech.
of
Not worth
you.
it.
that's why most men, if you ask us what we want in a relationship, it's not. I mean, the characteristics aside, attraction needs to be there, but it's a sense of peace. Like if I come home and I'm mad, you know what I want you to do? Nothing. Just don't push my buttons. Just be like, babe, you can sit next to me silent. Don't say nothing. You don't have to do nothing.
Yeah.
Just let me feel.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone wants to talk about, men can't feel. You got to be. That's not masculine.
Yeah.
Masculine is being able to, for me to be calm, cool, and collected when I need to be, but I still have a monster in me. So if my girl knows that, okay, I gotta calm that, like, hey, and be that calming, peaceful source, you get everything else you want, not a problem.
Exactly. And that's the great thing about our relationship. We are so connected to the soul where we can feel each other. So if I'm feeling like he's a certain way, like I have a way of cooling him down and making him feel a certain way and, caring for him in that nature. And he does the same for me.
Yeah, it's like
So-
you guys recognize your love language.
Exactly. And we never fight. Never. Within the
love it.
4 years, all we do is laugh.
And that's what it
the
should be.
best thing.
Seriously.
It should
think
be
so?
easy when you have. I mean, I think some form of healthy fighting and disagreements is good to have, but I felt like you were gonna say
No.
that.
I was gonna agree. I think. Well, correct me here, because I have a lot of the same or similar thought process on finding someone that's a companion. Because companionship is way more than plug and chug. Like stay home, do this. I work, get money. Companionship is contend with me. So if I'm not taking out the trash, babe, listen. I'm doing me. Just take the. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me take the trash out. Because you got to do something at the house too.
have to.
Like I learned from my dad. Like my dad spent so much time working for the family and being out. But once he was at home, he doesn't have it. And he's old school too, traditional. He doesn't have an ego. I'll see him doing stuff. I'm like, hey, whoa. But he's like, look, there's no ego. Like you let it go.
And that's the key, is just not having an ego, just loving each other and supporting one another. I think that's what it is.
Ooh, so
You know?
let me ask you this, Rada. I have 2 questions. My first question is, what makes a good marriage? And my second question is, how does the man and the woman go about their monthly expenses? Like, how are they splitting the bills? Do you feel that the man should pay 100%, or do you feel like the man should at least pay 90%? Like it should be like a 90-10 or 80-20? Because not every household will have those finances like others. Everyone's pocket is different, but I just want to get your perspective on it, because I feel like you've seen the best of both worlds.
I have, and I think it comes down to the type of man that you're going to be with. Are they traditional? Are they modern? Do they want to take care of you? Would they rather have you stay home, or would they rather you do your thing and make that money? You know, I can speak to our relationship where we both didn't really talk about it, but we were at a place where we were making our own money anyway. So it didn't really matter. And we have our own place, we have our own car. We have our own immediate family to take care of. So our setup is different. I think to make a marriage great is, I feel like, a lot of the time society's saying, when you're married, you are one. Everything is one. Your finances, the way you think, the way you sleep, the way you shit, the way you eat. Is like, that's not true. I mean, you're an individual. Both of you are 2 separate beings coming to one, where you're trying to coincide with one another on a daily basis. And I don't feel like an individual should let go of who you are to be that one marriage, whatever it is that they talk about. Because initially, that's what I thought it was. And I learned a lot from that, to where, you can't be somebody else. You can't let go of your goals. You can't let go of your dreams. You can't try to fit into this bubble of one that they call to make a marriage work.
Like suppressing yourself for
Suppressing-
someone else.
Yes.
Because that comes out after years. A woman could be, and just adding to what you're saying, I don't want to take away from your questions,
No,
but a woman could do that for 20, 25, 30 years.
I did it, yeah.
And then guess what? Well, I did this for you. You did that. And
A lot of resentment.
And that's the worst. I don't never want to sit up in a house 30 years deep and have to hear the resentment of a woman.
Man, that'd be the worst.
You have to live your own life in a marriage. You cannot try to accommodate the other person and suppress who you are, like a majority of the time. I just feel like you just be you.
And those conversations should be open.
Yeah.
Have hobbies.
Should be.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Come together when you need to come together. You
Facts.
know, you're gonna be together forever.
I got one more question, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all have the floor. Okay, so I have another question for you. What are your thoughts on if a woman tell a man when they're having that conversation, if they're taking the next step, like what are you looking for as far as when we decide to move in together? And the woman says, well, I'm looking for a man to pay 100%. And then the guy says, well, this is what I can bring. I can bring 80-20 or I can bring 90-10. How do you feel about that? I'm not speaking on your situation, but just in general.
I feel it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fair to have that discussion before you guys move in together. It's better to set the expectations in the forefront than go into it and trying to figure it out. That's when,
Yeah.
it's not going to last.
But does it make you less of a man if you can't spend 100%? Because a lot of women may think, and I'm not speaking on all women. Obviously every woman thinks different, but some may think, well, he can't provide for me, so I'm going to seek it from somewhere else.
I personally think I kind of agree with Rada because let's say what she said earlier. If a man has that traditional role where he wants his wife to, or significant other, whatever the case may be, to stay home, cook, clean, that's still, whether even though it's not finances, it's still a contribution to the team, because
sure.
in a marriage you're a team.
So
if she's not bringing in income and that's what he wants in his marriage, and she's okay taking care of all that stuff, then it's 100-0.
Yeah.
But if she's working and he's okay with her working, whatever, and he might not have the full means to pay for it, then that's when I agree with her. You got to have that discussion of,
sure.
hey, I can do this much. What's our budgeting look like?
Right.
And again, before you move
Yeah,
in together,
before.
because if
Yeah.
you just wing it and be like, oh, we're in love,
Exactly.
honeymoon phase, and then,
Exactly.
hey, where the fuck is rent? Internet isn't paid for. Well, I got what? Like, we ain't got no
Yeah.
water on. Like,
Yeah.
what the
True.
fuck?
And a lot of the times I find that men put on a horse and pony show until when the time comes for you to like start getting it done, or
when the lights come on, showtime.
When it's showtime, you didn't say what you promised.
Yeah, true.
know?
And then we got
Just-
to wrap up in like 5 minutes, Rada. But
Okay.
before I let you go, I want to know, going back to the good experiences, how you and Mike always had. So I know you guys went to Ghana, I think more than once together, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about your experiences in that, and like experiencing that different culture compared to the U.S. and like where your upbringing was? And then also talk a little bit about the VH1 couples retreat experience and like some of the other couples that were on there before we wrap up.
Okay. Ghana was amazing. I absolutely love that country. It's like one of the best countries I've been to. They are very loving, and you're just like family to them. Anybody that goes there, they're just all open arms, and treat you like their brothers, sisters. So I love it. And the culture is not that different than mine, which is Cambodian. We have a lot of things that are very, very similar. And that's why, when I went into his world and experience a little bit of that culture, it was very much different.
You
than
felt like
mine.
you were in
I
your
felt
element.
like I was home.
in your
Yeah.
element.
And, he opened up the Michael Blackson Foundation.
That's dope.
Started his school there. And I'm so proud of him for giving back to his country. Overall, experience is amazing. If you guys haven't been to Ghana, you guys should go and check it out. It's crazy. It's not something that you would think to be traditional Africa. When you go and visit, I mean, there's people from all over the world, a lot of people from Europe, London. So it's not just the traditional people that are there. And they party a lot. They party 24/7.
Dang.
I was there for 2 weeks. As soon as we landed, we partied every single night because
Like,
he
I'm
had
tired.
an event every
Every
single
day.
night. Oh, yeah, it was a lot. And then as far as couples retreat, I had a great time. I made a lot of connections. I'm friends with a lot of the couples still till this day.
Did you know any of them before going on to that show?
I was familiar with them, but I didn't know them on a personal basis. But since the show, I mean, we've been connected to the hip. Most of the cast, and also some of the producers, I still keep in touch with, and it was an amazing experience. I can't complain. We gave a lot for the public to talk about.
Yeah.
Ratings were amazing.
How long was filming for?
It wasn't too bad. So the first season we filmed in Tucson during COVID. That was brutal because we had to go through the 2 weeks quarantine
Oh,
and then
shit.
filming was 2 weeks. And
Why Tucson? That's so
I
weird.
know. Well, because a lot of states had certain mandates where production couldn't take place because of COVID, and it was easier for them to produce there.
Okay.
Open areas,
Yeah, it was
probably.
open.
Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And that was an experience because I've never. Have you guys seen a javelina?
Yeah.
Yes,
I haven't.
in
you-
neighborhoods,
No.
I didn't even know what the hell that was.
In Paradise Valley, you'll
wild
see 'em
pig
too.
type. Like,
Yeah,
my
it's
brother's
an ugly,
neighborhood.
ugly pig.
Awatuki, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen
Anywhere
it.
near mountains, you'll see them.
Yeah, well, okay.
Isn't Pumbaa
they're
javelina?
scary. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you think they'd be
Pumbaa.
nice.
Pumbaa.
Javelinas are
Pumbaa.
scary, bro.
Oh my
Look
god,
ugly.
they look so scary. But yeah, there were a lot of those wild animals out there. But just a really quick fun fact. So when I came from Long Beach, I didn't know what a javelina was. I actually thought it was a person. When I used to be a claimants adjuster, and there was a car that hit a javelina, and I was talking to an insured. And I was asking the insured, "Oh, how old was javelina?" I called it
Javelina?
Javelina.
I'm
I said, how old
dying.
is Javelina? Were her parents around? And the guy was like, obviously you don't know what a javelina is. And I was like, a what? I'm like, this guy is so cruel. He's calling this little girl a javelina. You just killed her. I was about to hang up the phone. He's like, he started to laugh. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, he just killed a person. But then anyway.
He's laughing because he's a car
Yeah.
guy. so-
I'm laughing at that story though. Like, is a mom around? Like, bro.
Like
And
what?
I-
What are you talking
you know,
about?
and State Farm gave me this plaque that says, "Thank you for saving my life. Love, Javelina."
Javelina.
Oh, I'm dying. That's
so-
funny.
That's
That is
funny.
funny.
Yeah, that was like ages
So
ago.
with the couples retreat, how long was filming, and then did they like take away all your guys' phones and everything? Like, because they do that for some shows like Bachelorette and is it like Are You the One? Other reality shows where they're like, hey, all of you guys are kind of segregated, no
Yeah.
phones, no nothing, 9 weeks, and then
No, they weren't strict at all. I mean, it was such a blast. It was like a vacation. But I was on camera all day long, and but it was like nothing to me because I guess I don't know. I just ignore it.
Ryder, we do this every episode. I would love to. How can I word this?
You want Michael Blackson on here?
No, I would love to have Michael Blackson on here, but I want to know who do you think would be a really good guest that we should go after? And we would love Michael Blackson, but if we can't get him, we're open to whoever.
Referrals, alley oops.
Who would be a really good guest to go after? I don't know. Like someone entertaining.
anyone or someone with a good story, like how they went from rags to riches type shit. It doesn't matter.
Athletes, entertainers, musicians, friends who are business owners.
True.
I don't know. I
Put
can't
the
really.
pressure on you.
You're putting pressure on
I'm
me.
sorry.
Why would you do
I'm sorry.
I
Forgive
don't know
me.
that much people out
Sorry,
there.
Mike. I didn't mean to.
But maybe you should try to get my fiance on here
When he comes for the
Let's
show.
do it.
when he comes for
Let's
the
get
we
show.
him.
can
Let's
get
get
him
We
him.
here.
definitely got it. What day
Let's
did you
get
say
him.
it was?
March 10th.
March 10th?
Yeah,
That's
March
coming up
10th and
soon.
11th.
Okay.
We're gonna go to the show. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna enjoy it, and then if it happens,
You know what? There's also another person. He's I don't know. Have you guys heard of the brand Vapin at all? It's like a weed brand. He has a great story behind that. His name is Ty Nugent. He is local in Glendale.
Okay.
A great entrepreneur. Him and his wife. You should hear his story about that brand.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to
amazing.
reach out to him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Seriously.
tap in.
Sweet.
All right.
Definitely, we had a pleasure from the team.
Yeah.
We absolutely appreciate you coming down, taking time out of your day, especially when you just came in from Philly
Yeah.
on
Shout out
2
to
hours
Rhoda,
of
man.
beauty.
Shout
Yeah, that was so cool. We
Big
appreciate
time.
it. And I think we might need to get you back on to talk a little bit more relationship and stuff like that because I think you had a lot of gems to share.
I think you guys were a little shy to ask me. I was expecting more of a burn underneath my butt.
No, I honestly, that's not.
I was ready.
Honestly, I
I
could have
was
kept
ready.
going all day. To be honest.
Honestly, you're right. That's why I say come
I
back
could have
because
kept going on. I didn't
Hold
even
on.
realize we went past our time.
We could go
Yeah.
because
Hold on,
honestly,
part
I
two.
felt like we were having such a good time and we were
Yeah.
laughing, and then at the same time we were like with the jokes, you definitely threw some good gems out there, but I feel like the platform allowed to, people to see, things that they didn't know of you. Like, and, whatever they're judging, oh, she's materialistic. That she's not.
Yeah.
Fuck all y'all that think that she is.
She's cool.
I'm not a gold digger.
I do need you as my wing woman now.
You know what? I've been playing wing women for a lot of people.
So we gotta make something happen.
Of course,
do it.
I'll be your wing woman
Rada, you're
because you're a
amazing.
nice guy.
I appreciate you. You think I got a shot? You think I have a good shot?
Yeah, I think so. You have glasses, so you can
I don't even.
It's back to the glasses.
you can clearly see
Yeah, I can clearly see.
through her soul.
But see, that's what I'm saying. We could go on for another hour and get into the nitty gritty. We got to have you back on again
gotta
at
have
some
you back,
point,
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
But anything else? Closing words?
No,
Thank
we
you
just
so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Enjoy the episode. Till next time. Peace.